So these altcoins could be in a world of bother if Bitcoin cannot recover from this specific pattern. In this video, I'm going to share with you the exact price targets I believe some of these altcoins could get to if Bitcoin decides to visit back to 17,600 or even worse to a lower price target case. I'm going to show you this exact pattern which is forming on Bitcoin, which could get us out of this mess, but if it doesn't, what does that mean for the likes of Phantom? What does it mean for the likes of Near Protocol, Solana, Avalanche? We're going to dive deep into those in this video, so make sure you smash that like button. Don't forget to subscribe. As always, if you want to trade any of these moves or buy any of these cryptocurrencies, you can do so using the exchanges in the link in the description to BYBIT or BitGet, both platforms which I personally use. Bitcoin has been in this channel for many a month now, going back all the way to June where we fell to our low at 17,600. That's this level here. And this level is increasingly significant because what we've noticed is since then, Bitcoin has showed a lot of strength around 18,700, which has meant it hasn't had to visit its June low. Now, we're going to comment on how many other altcoins have already hit their June lows and some of them are already at their low. So therefore, what does that mean if Bitcoin wants to go visit to test its low at 17,600? Where does that leave the likes of Phantom, Near Protocol, Avalanche, Solana? Some of these altcoins have already been majorly hit from their all-time highs. What does that mean for them? What is the situation we're in? Well, what you can see here is we were in this triangle pattern, we broke to the downside, but then we created some strength. Now what we're looking at is a bit of a double bottom pattern, okay? We're looking for a double bottom reversal pattern. That is our hope of getting to the upside. Now, to make this a little bit more obvious, what we're going to do is switch back to the daily. And now what you can see on this line graph is you can see the shapes forming a little bit better. And the pattern I want to share with you is twofold. You've got small W patterns occurring, right? So you can see we're trying to create a small reversal in here with two bottoms. But the more interesting pattern, so the small one is here. I just want to share that with you there. That's a small W pattern, okay? Now, our larger pattern is if we can get to our neckline at 20,300. If we do so, you've got a big W pattern. This is something I've been sharing with you guys for a little while now. If we can get to that, that is our hope for getting back to the top of the channel at 22,000. So to play that back again, we've got a small W pattern forming here. Double bottom pattern. If we can get there, we can work our way to this white line at 20,400 range. Once we've done that, we've then formed the second part of our bigger W pattern, which is now able to break all the way to the top of our channel. This is our plan for getting out. This is the only way that Bitcoin is going to get out from a technical perspective. But what is the more likely case? Well, as I've been sharing with you, the bias continues to be with the bears. The strength is with the bears in this case. If I bring out the EMA ribbon, you can see more likely than not, we're looking to get rejected, right? You can see how we're getting a little bit of rejection here. Are we going to get pushed back to that 18,700 level? And then if we do so, after testing it so many times, are we more likely to therefore go and revisit some of our June lows at 17,600? That is the question we're trying to figure out right now. But that is our scenario from the upside. But if we do fall to the downside, where does that then leave the likes of Phantom? Because if we look at Phantom here, we're already at horrible lows, right? We're already far lower now than we were dating back in June, the June closes. So we're already seeing some weakness here on these altcoins. And therefore, where are we likely to fall? You're already sitting here at 20 cents on Phantom. If Bitcoin falls to 17,600, that is going to be quite painful. Then I'm looking for support on Phantom at around some of those 15-cent level marks, right? Are we going to collect some support around these levels here? Let me just show you where our horizontal support comes in on Phantom, right? So this is where we're sat. I'll be looking at support on this horizontal line at 15 cents. But then the question argues, if Bitcoin wants to go even lower, if Bitcoin wants to play out an even more negative case, how much further can these altcoins go? And I'm going to share that with you here as well. Because what we can see here from Bitcoin is we're in this triangle pattern. And we're now coming to a decision point of what are we going to do? Are we going to get that breakout to the upside? Are we going to create that W pattern, which I'm sharing with you, and get out of this situation? Or are we going to be thrown to the downside, which can potentially bring you down to a 14,000 Bitcoin? I think that's the scenario that won't necessarily 100% play out, but we need to be aware of it. We need to be prepared for it, as that is the one that's going to get caught out. Nobody's going to get caught out by a market which goes green. Loads of people have been DCAing. They've been building out their portfolios. You've had plenty of opportunity to be in the market. What people will get called out for is a big flush down to the downside, liquidating them or making them panic sell. So that's why we need to be prepared for that. And then if you play out that scenario, where does that leave likes of Phantom? Well, at that point, you're looking at lower price points down to 10 cents here on Phantom. And that's where things start to get very, very tricky for this project if you do not have conviction. And that is is why it's super important right now. This is the warning I'm trying to give in this video. These altcoins could potentially take a big hit right now. And if you do not have conviction, you need to be asking myself, what am I doing sat in low market cap altcoins, which I have no conviction in, I have no desire to hold them for multiple years? You're just left with a bag. And that is why I'm making this to say, hang on, well, you may think we're super suppressed now, but Bitcoin can technically fall to 17,600. It can even worse, fall down to that 14, 15,000 level. And trust me, the decimation altcoins will continue because the altcoins will fall much faster, much more rapidly than Bitcoin. I'm going to share that with you as well, because if you look over here at Bitcoin dominance, where is Bitcoin dominance sitting? Now, if you look at the way I monitor dominance, we're sat between two channels, and the bottom channel here is around that 39.65%, and I keep the top line roughly at around that 48% mark. And what you can see is we bounced strongly from here, as we expected, from the bottom of the channel here, and you've got a big move to go. In other words, Bitcoin dominance can continue to climb. And how does that climb? It can climb when the market's falling. Bitcoin can be falling, altcoins fall much more, and therefore dominance rises. Okay, so Bitcoin dominance doesn't just rise in a bull market, Bitcoin dominance rises in a bear market because Bitcoin doesn't fall as fast as other altcoins. So don't be surprised to see that, which can put some pressure on your altcoins. Very, very important. Let's also therefore take a look at Near Protocol. And what we can see on Near Protocol, you can see how low we are now on Near Protocol. Let's just bring that back into focus. You can see we're already past our June lows. That's your June low there, okay? So that's the equivalent of Bitcoin at 17,600. That's when Bitcoin formed its low. But Near Protocol has gone below that already. So again, you ask yourself, what happens now if Bitcoin decides to go to 17,600? It doesn't leave much room for Near Protocol. If it falls even below there, things can get really messy. And my price target sitting here is $1.64. Can you see that $1 mark? Now, you're quite far off that right now. You're at $2.90, 92 here on Near Protocol. So it does feel like a long way, but there isn't critical resistance. You've got a little bit of a cluster dating back to Jan 21, where you can see a bit of support at $2.50 on Near Protocol. But then after that, 164. So if Bitcoin wants to visit that 14,000 level, that 15,000 level, you need to be asking yourself, are you comfortable if Near Protocol falls to 164? Will you be dollar cost averaging more, or are you going to panic sell? That's what this exercise is all about. Playing out the scenarios to ask yourself, are you going to panic sell? Because if you're going to panic sell 164, why would you not panic sell right now at $2.90? Save yourself the pain, right? And when the market's confirmed green, you can buy in a little bit more expensive to account for the fact that you didn't have conviction. That's the way I would play if I didn't have conviction, but really I would take the time to build conviction and only be in plays and dollar cost average into plays, which I do have conviction in. But that's what I'm seeing on Near Protocol. Then you want to look at the likes of Avalanche. Let's take a look here at Avalanche. You're at the bottom of your channel. Again, at those June lows. Avalanche is already at those June lows. And now, if Bitcoin has a wobble here, if Bitcoin falls below that green line, which I shared with you, the 18,600 level, then you're looking at lower price points, right? You're going to break down from this channel. If you're to take a technical move, just take the impulse wave just as a guidance point here to ask ourselves, you know, what kind of level can we expect? Then you're looking down here from moving from a $15, $16 Avalanche all the way down to channel down towards where you're at 4. Now, I don't think it's going to get there. This is why technical targets are a little bit silly sometimes, but you can make an argument of why you cannot fall to the bottom here, which was in the summer of 2021, bringing you a level of $9.66 there on that horizontal. Okay, so that's what you've got to be prepared for. That's what you've got to ask yourself. Am I going to panic sell? Am I ready for these lows? Because Bitcoin's at a critical position. I think I've demonstrated that. It could go either way. We have a path to get out with the W pattern, but the strength is with the bears. The macroeconomy isn't great. We've covered that off. Yes, we had a positive week in the markets last week, and they're trying to rally on that this week. See, the pre-market is a little bit green, but who's convinced? Nobody's convinced just yet. We've got another week of very important earnings coming out. You've got the likes of Microsoft, UPS, Google, Facebook, Shopify, Amazon, all the big hitters this week, which again could move the markets. And then next week, we've got Jerome Powell delivering his FOMC meeting, where the market are expecting 75 basis points. And it's interesting, I just refreshed this from yesterday, and now it's dropped down to 92%. This was close as 96%. So you've got a little bit creeping going on, where a few people are saying, hang on, maybe we're going to see 50 basis points. And this is what you call the pivot, right? This is what everybody's waiting for, the pivot. I don't think that's going to happen. I think we're dead cert for another 75 basis points, and that's the way I'm going to operate in this market. Let's also take a look at something like Solana. So you can see here, Solana is something which is hugely suppressed from all-time highs. We know that. We know they've had some downtime. They've had some difficult 2022 here. And now they're already low, well, just slightly lower than their June low. So another one, which if Bitcoin wanted to take another dump, it's got no breathing room. It's got nowhere to go to. It's going to come down to this 25 cents mark and then potentially lose that level as well bringing it to some support at around 22 is where you've got some support coming in for Solana. So that's what I would be looking out for some of these altcoins. So let's also take a look at the dollar index, because this is what's now causing a lot of the stress in the market. And if this happens, this could be really painful for crypto, and particularly altcoins. So what you can see here from the dollar index, let's just switch back to our candles. We've got this little bit of a head and shoulders pattern. Okay, you can see we've got a high and a lower high. And what we've been monitoring here is we want to lose this trend. We want this to fall. Remember, this is inversely correlated to crypto. If the dollar index can take a dump here, okay, which could be caused by strength in the GBP, strength in the yen, which all have their own issues going on in their own countries, right? The UK are hoping to have their next prime minister sworn in today. Could that strengthen the pound? Japan are intervening in their currency markets. Could that strengthen the Japanese yen? If those become stronger, dollar index can become weaker. And dollar index becomes weaker, that is positive for Bitcoin. Then we can get that W pattern. We can break from the descending triangle to the upside. But, are we likely to get that? I mean, when you look at it here and I bring out the EMA ribbon, you'd be a little bit of a fool to be betting against the dollar index in this kind of a state. I mean, this is parabolic, and I've mentioned it time and time again. You cannot bet against it. And that is why, if and until we don't get our close below the EMA ribbon, I'm not betting against this monster. I want to see that close below. I want to see good volume coming in, closing this below here, the EMA ribbon. Then I can be like, okay, maybe we are finally getting that curling over on the dollar index, driving us to the downside, and that could signal an impulse wave to the upside for Bitcoin. Until then, I've got to assume this. I've got to assume it's going to do what it's done every single time before, which is bounce with vengeance, and go past a new high, higher than this peak here. And that is what I've got to look for. Now, the good news we have here, which I've pointed out previously, is this. We have had a lower high versus this high. So that is good, but the EMA ribbon's coming in, a green candle today. Will the dollar index build some momentum and keep Bitcoin to the downside? And again, if this bounces strongly, Bitcoin will break from those patterns I've just shared with you, and that's going to create the knock-on effect on some of these altcoins. So there you have it, guys. A really critical week coming up here in the crypto markets. Be very, very careful. If you're not in altcoins, which you have like unshakable confidence in right now, you need to be questioning, what am I doing in them? Because if you're going to panic sell with another 25-30% retracement, you could be saving yourself a world of hurt and bother by making sure you're only in plays which you're ready to double down on or just hodl. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to smash up the like button and subscribe. If you haven't watched my Polygon price update and Polkadot updates, make sure you go check out the videos which I'll link up here. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.